Hey guys, I'm back with another hair video. I made myself a new everyday wig with Aliexpress's Beauty Grace hair. This wig was super easy to make. I was going for a natural blowout type look, and so the customizing was very minimal. If you want to see how I made and applied my wig from start to finish, just keep watching. So to begin, I use Clairol's 40 volume developer, also a mixing bowl. I use BW2's lightening powder, and I use these popsicle sticks for my mixing and applying of the product. I use this basic dome cap from the Mr. Do-Rag brand, and I used Adore and Via hair color, which we're going to use later in the video. And I'm using this beautiful hair from Beauty Grace. I used the inches 14 for my bundles, and my frontal was 12 inches. And the frontal actually comes pre-plucked. If you can see, the beginning of the hairline is already a little thin, so I didn't have to do that much. I started off with 2 scoops of my lightening powder. I don't think you need any more than that. Now I'm using a purple hair dye with my mixture because that will offset the brassy colors like the orange and red you usually get after lifting dark knots off a lace closure. So it's kind of like pre-toning the hair color a bit. And because of the ingredients like hydrogen peroxide and some of the sulfates, that's just going to turn the substance blue. And I'm just going to keep mixing this until it's like a really thick texture. I don't want it to run. I need it to be yeah, like a very pasty texture so that like when I flip the bowl, it doesn't run out and I know that I'm good. So I'm just going to bring out some foil to keep my area clean, because this is what I'm going to leave the frontal end to sit when I'm done. And I just got some like flyaway hairs out the way so that I'm not lightening any hair by accident, and I'm just applying this right onto the lace. I'm not really pressing down, I'm kind of just smoothing over as if I'm spreading butter. And don't forget your gloves. If you've ever lightened hair or worked with lightener without gloves, then you know this is serious. Do not leave your hands yeah, bare and unsafe, because it will eat at your skin and it hurts like crap. And so I'm just going to fold that up to kind of contain some heat in here and let that sit for about 30 minutes, and I'll be back to wash it out. So this is what my frontal is looking like. My knots still look a little dark to me, but I'm coming up on the end of my time, so I'm going to go ahead and wash it. And I just went in a second time and did my knots one more time. I did not do it on video though, because I kind of felt it was a little redundant. I just did exactly the same thing that I did the first time, and I didn't really have to let it sit for as long, and I also did not want to weaken my knots. And to wash out this lightener, I'm using some Iso Plus neutralizing shampoo to help me wash out all of those chemicals from the lightener. And I'm just going to take my time scrubbing on the side of the lace. I didn't really scrub on the hair because I don't want to weaken the hair or the knots. I just worked on the side of the lace. And as you can see, this looks a lot better. This was my second go around after lightening, and the knots are transparent. You can see my finger through the lace, and that's how you want it to be, because that is reflective of how it will be on your scalp. So I'm fitting my dome cap onto my mannequin head, and it's actually a 22-inch, by the way. I put my lace like a little bit in front of my dome cap. You want to make sure that you're fitting your cap to know where you want your lace to fit for your head. For me, when I put my lace a little bit in front of the cap, it always fits perfect. Some people, you may want to put it at the same point, and that works for you. Just make sure that you're fitting as you go along, and you're not just making your wig. You have to be sizing it as you go. So after I place the frontal onto the cap and it's in position with my T-pins, I begin sewing the side ear tabs and continue across the top of the head, and make sure that I knot the thread at the beginning and the end of the lace so that it's secure. And my knots are not thick or bulging. They're very flat, simple double knots on the band area. I made sure not to sew them through the band, but only on the spandex area of the dome cap, because if so, it won't stretch. And speaking of bands, I used an old band from a previous dome cap to add into my wig for extra security, because I don't always glue down my wigs to stay put, so I definitely wanted some extra security with a band. Also, just do this if you're not in reach of an individual elastic band purchase, because this is just the same thing and it saves you money. Okay, for my first row, I doubled the track because I didn't want it to appear thin, being as though the hair is only 14 inches. So I cut the hair on the first two tracks and I laid them down flat. And then from there, I started the next row with a single weft, and I folded my tracks back as flat as I could on the corners, knotting them from side to side. And I just continued this up until I reached the top center of the head, where I'll start laying the tracks in a different direction. And I actually am sewing through my wefts. I do that on my first row because I do want it to be very secure. Also, like kind of when I'm flipping the track, I'll sew through the weft again. Anywhere that I just kind of want my weft to feel more secure, I'm definitely going to go through the weft. I'm not against like sewing through my wefts that I believe that it's going to damage the hair or anything. My hair has always been fine if I sew through the weft, so yeah. Okay guys, so once you get to the top crown of your wig, you want to start laying your wefts in like a downward order opposed to across now, so that eventually the wefts will line up with like your frontal, and this way it'll lay flat. This will save you from like that bulky wig look, anything showing. You want it to look as natural as possible. So yeah, your wefts are going to be undetectable if you go in the downward order, kind of now going from like a ear to ear, up and across over the head opposed to around the head. And when I'm closing up my wig on that final weft piece, I will go through the lace and through the weft to connect the two to give me security and also for it to be a very seamless finish. Alright, and so the wig is complete. Woo woo. Only thing you have to do now is just cut off the excess of the dome cap. We don't need that part anymore because now that we have the lace that extends over the head and it fits perfectly. So I was going for a simple blue black to take away that natural brown color that the virgin hair usually comes in. I mixed Adore's Royal Blue and Via's Black Satin together just to get that. And I want to protect my black head from permanent stains. So I'm going to use like a trash bag to cover it. And then I'm just going to secure my wig on with a few T-pins. in the important spots, like in the front of the lace, in front of the hairline, in the middle of the head, and like in the nape area where the band is. So I damped the wig, by the way, because when you're dealing with semi-permanent hair color, you do have to have the cuticles open on hair in order for the color to take. So usually that's why you have to shampoo hair before you place on any color. But guys, I must say, please work on a steady surface when you're doing this, because you're about to witness my poor judgment. This carpet is so good. The who? Carpet. Oh, damn. What's that, black dye? Yeah, blue and black. And it's not just So shout out to Bae once again for being my savior in my videos. I love you, babe. Alright, so this is when the hair is like fully finished and it's like saturated all the way through. I went ahead and let that sit for about 20-30 minutes and shampooed that out. And now I'm just defining the part of where I want the hair to lay. I knew I wanted like a nice deep side part, so that's what I'm doing here, just getting my curvature right. And I'm pulling out those baby hairs that the frontal comes with, and I'm going to start plucking like right behind that area of the hairline. It is pre-plucked, so it does look pretty good, but I just wanted to do a little bit more, kind of like where my part is going to be, you know, just like in the front, because I wanted it to look pretty, you know, natural. I'm also not going to do much with like baby hair, so yeah, I just want to thin it out pretty good and make sure that it looks nice, looks natural. And I didn't do too much like shaping into the hair or any cutting really. I just was cutting off like any dead ends or shabby like flyaway parts that I could see at the ends of the hair that would look like unhealthy. Look at Poppy trying to play. Get out of here, Poppy. So to curl the hair, I'm using some Garnier Fructis Sleek and Shine, and I just wanted to give the hair like some nice body and volume. It's like kind of like some shape to it. Look at my cats fighting in the background, you guys. They are so wild. Alright, so I just curled the hair to give myself some body and like a shape. I didn't want it to be flat, being as well as it's short. It's kind of like that in between. I didn't feel like it was going to look like much of anything, but I could definitely turn it into a style if I gave it some curls and just like brushed and curled them out. So now the final victory to claim in your wig making is cutting that lace off and being as close to the hairline as possible. And then you can finally begin applying your wig. Alright, so I just got about like 12 straight backs in my hair ready for this wig. And so I'm just going to go ahead and fit it on, and I'll pull it back a little bit behind my hairline so that I can see my hairline in order to clean it and just kind of get off like the makeup, any debris, oils and things like that from my hair, so that I can pull the lace, you know, like to my hairline and look at it, kind of like see some adjustments, anything I may need to make, and see where it's going to be laying, how it's going to be laying, and what I'm going to need to cut. So once I feel pretty confident in where the lace is going to be laying, that's when I'll go ahead and I'll cut the excess lace that's laying like over top of my ears. Don't be afraid to cut and customize your wig, ladies. A lot of times I know it can seem like the hair is still on it, so like you're somehow cutting your wig, but you do have to customize that area because it's really going to hurt that lace rubbing on top of your ear like that. That lace can be hard, it's abrasive, and just like pressing against it, and like the pressure, especially if you have like an elastic band under there too, like me, it can just be like really uncomfortable. So make sure that you are freeing your ears and you're cutting off that lace around your ears to customize it to actually fit your head. So today I'm using Ghost Bond Supreme Lace Glue, and I started off applying like a thin layer right in front of my hairline. I didn't want to touch my hair at all. So I let that dry for about a minute or two until it showed clear, and then I just went behind that with the second layer. Alright, so now that all the glue has dried clear, I'm just getting out some flyaways from my braids out of the way so that I can go ahead and pull this wig forward. So now that I'm pulling the lace forward down onto my forehead, I'm just placing it right on top of where I put the glue. And I just pretty much like worked in sections to like adhere the lace right on top of that glue, and just work it down with like my fingertips and like the edges of the combs and things like that until I felt that the wig was fully adhered and secured onto my head. Alright, so like just for a little bit of molding on my edges, I'm going to use this like Velcro band that I got from the beauty supply store. I really love this band. It's specifically just for like lace wigs, edges, and like laying down sides and stuff like that. And I'm going to let that sit for about 10 minutes. And when I take this off, my edges should be laid. Okay. And it looks like really good, okay, like really good. As you can see, I'm happy with it, and yeah, I can continue on with my hair. So the hair is pretty much done. All I'm doing right now is just like some finishing, styling, smoothing, things like that. So I'm just like cleaning up my part. I'm putting in a little bit more like sleek and shine, and I also use like my plug-in straightening comb so that I could flatten out the top. And as I stated before, I didn't go too big on the baby hairs for this unit. I just really wanted to focus on it being natural. So I only pulled out like the thin pre-plucked edge that came like already on the unit. So I just like swooped them back naturally to look more like soft edges, more so than a fleek edge, if you know what I mean. Alright, and lastly, I finished with a touch of foam wrapping lotion from the Bonner Brothers to, you know, like that those flyaways smooth down my part, and I brushed it through the curls so that it loosen up and just give me some nice waves and body. And yeah, that pretty much complete my wig styling. I hope y'all like it, and smash that like button if you do. Okay, so this is definitely going to be my Raven wig. Do y'all name your wigs? You know, because I name my wigs. This is definitely going to be my new natural, like, everyday wig, sort of. I'm not going to wear it every day, but it'll be like my more go-to wig opposed to like other ones that are, you know, for like specific occasions. So this I can just do either like 2 or 3 flexi rods or like 5 pin curls and call it a night, and just put my bonnet on. I really like this wig. I think I did a good job. I'm really happy with how it came out. And if you guys like this video, comment down below, let me know what you think about it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.